The best lead singer, we were just talking about that at break, to ever grace Black Sabbath's presence, Ozzy Osbourne. And they are coming around, so look it up and see where they're coming to your town. They are touring one last time. And this is a bigger deal than Motley Crue retiring, guys. This is Black Sabbath. I almost said the F-bomb in between. That's how excited I get every time I get to hear them play. And I am a fan, and I told George this, of Dio's Black Sabbath. Maybe we'll save some of that later on. But Ozzy is the better of the two.
It's almost two different bands.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's kind of odd to say two different bands when you got three of the four guys in common. But no, it really is, because I've seen Sabbath with Dio and with Ozzy, and the Dio version of Sabbath is more like, and I don't mean this as an insult because I like both bands, it's more like a Black Rainbow.
Yeah.
Or it's got a different feeling to it when Dio sings.
The Heaven and Hell concert. What a time that was. That was the only time I sat back and rest his soul. I said, Dio sucks. and a couple years later, he passed away. But that's a true rocker, fan.
So basically, he you could almost say that he bracketed his career with Heaven and Hell, because I happened to have been at the show when they released the Heaven and Hell album.
Yeah.
And that was a different story. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. And I am a huge fan of Dio, and it was the first time getting to see him live.
No.
And this is how you know I'm a true rock and roll fan, because I'm not going to sit there and kiss his ass and say he was awesome. Because like Motley Crue, every musician has their time where they put on a crappy performance. And to me, the one and only time I saw him was a crappy performance. Ozzy's done it to me too. I mean, the one year he fell off his quad and they had to keep running up to him and shooting him in the back with steroids.
Awful.
That was an awful performance. I walked out of Ozzy.
Also, there was a year where he just found out that his wife had cancer.
Uh-huh.
And, of course you feel bad for the guy, but as a paying concert goer,
his mind was not
awful.
on the show.
He was not in the game, as they say.
Right.
He definitely should have been there. Should have taken some time out. Now, these guys, I guess you would say most of them have gone other routes besides the WWE. But they're going to be showing up to Rhode Island Comic-Con, and we're wrestling fans here, and it is pop culture. But to leave these guys out would be a crime. I think Velvet Sky should be up with these guys along with Gremlina. I don't agree with how they did the listing with this, but maybe it was 1 minute too late and they already made the list. But then I see Jay and Steve way up on the top instead of being down where the other people are.
The important thing is they're all going to be there, though.
Yeah. Now, I'm excited to see Demolition. I was a fan of theirs in the 80s.
Rip-off Road Warriors.
They were. But
of course, the two men are big enough that I'm not going to say that anywhere near their...
But I am a fan of face paint, being that I'm an evil clown. So those are brothers in paint to me. And I'm hoping they show up in paint and don't show up with their normally ugly faces, guys.
Wrinkly, ugly faces.
Yeah, please put the paint on. That would be worth the price. I will pay the $40 for picture if you have your gear on. If you do not...
Then you'll be hit in the face with a Chuckles pie.
I'm just going to shake your hand and walk away. That's what it's coming down to. And finally... Ted DiBiase's showing up without Virgil, which we've already gone over that story before on Chuckles Crypt, and we know how I feel about Virgil. And if you don't, go back to some of our previous shows.
Yeah.
You'll hear that I blatantly think he's a jerk.
Well, that's only because he tried to tell you how to run your own exhibit.
I'm not getting with that, especially after I'm not going there. Not going there. That's a whole other show.
Ted DiBiase, continue.
Yeah, he's going down. Now, this gentleman right here, I have met before at a place called Building 19, where Tony Jones and I both worked at. Very horrible place to work for, by the way.
Hey, did you ever drive a forklift before?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't. Here's the keys. You'll figure it out.
Take this broom and go chase the rats out by the mattresses. What? A horrible place to work at. Sean Waltman, how the mighty have fallen. Too young to be where he is right now. He started the wrestling career very young, 16. And he should be world title status right now. Still rocking it. Still in there with John Cena and all the other guys. But he has ruined his life with,
the druggist.
The druggist. It took him down fast. One of the best members of DX. I mean, I take nothing away from him. He was an excellent wrestler. Mm-hmm. And he was always had a really cool gimmick. And I would get excited to see him with DX, and I got excited to see him with the NWO thing that went on last WrestleMania. But, man, very disappointed when I met him because he was a jerk.
Now, how did you meet him at Billy 19? Did you just wander in there as a customer?
No, they had a group set up, and it was Sean Waltman, Bret Hart, and Portuguese, trying to think of his name, Savio Montoya, something like that.
Savio Vega?
Savio Vega. And
They
I
could
paid,
have subtitled that the Wrestling Disgruntled.
so I paid for all 3 autographs. Uh-huh. And this is back in the time where you paid $10 and you get 3 people's autographs. That was awesome. And then the very next night, you went to the tent to watch these guys wrestle. And within the next week, they were at the Providence Civic Center wrestling. So it was like wrestling nirvana. It was incredible. But my brother went up to him and asked him, and this is at the time where they were selling action figures of the wrestlers, not the rubber ones, the ones afterwards, the limited mobility ones, very highly collectible. And my brother asked, do they have a figure of you? And he rudely answered, of course they have a figure of me, kid. And he goes, well, where can I get one? He goes, well, you can buy one off me for $80. And we just both looked at him like,
$80?
$80, dude. I just paid $10 to get in here to get your autograph.
$80 could buy you all of Building 19.
Yeah. So we proudly said no, and he gave us a little bit of an attitude about it, and we walked away. Not a friendly guy. And
I would say that he was, you could say that he was being in character except for the $80.
Yeah, unless he was
joking.
Yeah, or he could have been having an off day, which is the possibility.
Or he may have looked around and realized I'm appearing at a Building 19.
I want $80. Now, this next man, I can't say enough how the mighty has fallen with him. Honky Tonk Man. The longest intercontinental reigning champion.
And a fellow podcaster.
Yep, a fellow podcaster stooped as low as to become a JCW world champion. That is a backyard wrestling league put on by ICP. Like I said, how the mighty have fallen.
Okay, what fell him?
I don't know. I don't know the story on why he left. I really don't want to get into it. But the fact that you have the longest reigning intercontinental champion in WWE history showing up in a backyard to wrestle with ICP. I know times are tough, but you got to sometimes look at that dotted line and say, is this worth me showing up to this show? I've had to cancel a couple of those, and I don't make money. So it makes you wonder about some of these folks here.
Guys and fries.
When we come back, I'm going to go into some typical evil clown, and we're probably going to get a lot of hate from this, and I like it. We're going to go down, and we just talked about it. We'll play some Dio. The Last in Line here on Chuckles Crypt, Rhode Island Free Radio.
Well, It's the angel or the beast, and the answer lies between our good and bad. We search for the truth, we could die upon the truth, but the thrill of just the chase is worth the pain.